Check, check. Tonight, game number 5 of the GOJHL Golden Horseshoe Conference semifinal. The Caledonia Corvairs lead the best-of-7 series 3-1 versus the number 4 seeded Ancaster Avalanche. The Corvairs, of course, the number 1 seed. Good evening, welcome to the HCCC. I'm John Molson. The Ancaster Avalanche avoided elimination on home ice Tuesday night with a 5-3 victory. Alex Zachariah opened the scoring at 8:54 of the first. Cosimo Fontana tied the game on a hard wrist shot top corner near side. The score 1-1 at the first intermission back on Tuesday night as the Corvairs win the opening draw of game number 5. Bramwell from beside the left wall moves to the slot, loses possession, and Lushcombe back to the neutral zone. Tanev and Purdy sandwiching Zachariah, and 2 men flying to the far board to follow Zachariah, McEnany and Lushcombe. And Lushcombe goes to the box to take the first penalty of game number 5, just 26 seconds in. The Corvairs to the power play at 24.4% on the year, 6th in the league through the playoffs. De Laurentiis, Hoare, and Lepore on for Caledonia, picked up by Treemstra, cleared the length of the ice. Kevin Entma below the end line, leaves it for Lepore. Entma playing 3 of the 4 games in this GOJHL Golden Horseshoe Conference semifinal. De Laurentiis to the corner for Hoare. Lepore to the right side for Blunt, back to Lepore. Blunt takes possession once again to the left to Lepore. Blunt plays it down the side wall for De Laurentiis and loses possession briefly to Burnett. Hoare playing it back in deep for Caledonia. Brown the turnaround to the half wall, the deflection. Hoare the deflection just wide. Off the initial shot by De Laurentiis. Blunt the shot, catches a piece of Burnell. Lepore from beside the right circle, back to De Laurentiis, the shot. A wide open Jake Brown beside the near goal post. Brown unable to get the forehand on it. De Laurentiis to Lepore, works it around the outside, back to Blunt. Lepore to the side wall for Hoare. De Laurentiis under the end line, the return feed, and the shot by Hoare, blocked by Treemstra. Here comes Caledonia catching Ancaster on a bad change. The inbound feed for Hoare, who stayed on for Jake Brown, pass along the goal line. 16 seconds remaining in the penalty to Blake Lushcombe. Brown's shot goes wide of the net. Hoare at the corner with Ryan Nill. Police there as well. Sinclair digs it out to Lepore right side. A backhander by Hoare from the right circle. He falls down 2 steps later on the play underneath the right circle, but Hoare with the big backhander on the right face-off dot. Chipped in by Police. Police giving Ancaster a 3-1 lead, courtesy of his 2 goals in the second period from Morgan Firestone Arena back on Tuesday night. Police tipping 2 shots at 2:45 and the 9:06 marks of the second. Balancing up to center, no one there for Ancaster. Ratchford back deep for Caledonia, up the side wall for Purdy. Abraham flips a pass into the corner. Richard out to play it around him. Richard playing all but the half game in game number 3, the 8-1 Caledonia win. Richard replaced after 4 goals by Matt Callis. Zachariah from the end line near side. Bramwell tries to keep it in, but Hughes, who was already down on the ice, managed to catch a piece of it left side of the blue line. Here's Purdy, a shot. Bramwell parked at the top of the crease, hit the back of his skates. Caledonia turning it on early. They certainly did that in the back half of the third period back on Tuesday night. The 2 third period goals from the right side of the blue line by Max Ballinson. And the Avalanche thought they had the game locked up at that point, only to find that the Corvairs came within 2. De Laurentiis and Purdy scoring at 2:33 and the 8:47 mark back on Tuesday night. The Corvairs then hitting 3 goalposts. Cosimo Fontana with a shot that laid right on the goal line to the near corner. Blake Richard making 38 of 41 saves in the Ancaster win. And Entma, tonight's starting goalie, making 33 of 38 saves in the loss. Trublin in the box, the shot by Lushcombe, and he scores. Blake Lushcombe, a power play goal just 4 seconds into the Ancaster power play. Ancaster trying to make a series of things after falling behind 3-0 in the series. Lushcombe with a power play goal just 4 seconds in. Blunt back for Caledonia. Hughes and Farley the assist at just 4:43. And the head referee calling for a high stick off behind the Ancaster goal. Face-off coming outside the line on the high stick. Brown Trublin on the left wing. Trublin missing the first 2 games of this series before playing the last 2. The 8-1 Caledonia victory in Game 3. And the 5-3 loss in Ancaster on Tuesday night. Van Horn to the other side for Blunt. Blunt up the sidewall. Patton leaves it. The pass in behind his back. St. Pierre run into by Brown. Brown able to get a short pass away to Trublin. Trublin the shot along the ice. And Richard down to his knees to make the save. Trublin trying to quickly tie this one up at 1 following the Blake Lushcombe wrist shot at 4:43 on the power play. Lushcombe with his second goal of the playoffs for his 3rd point on the power play goal. Laporte to the backhand. And it's picked up by Ryan Nill, played to the left wing half wall. Nill with it once again, checked by Hoare. De Laurentiis in the corner, tries to give back to Hoare, and Nill picks it up and gets it just over the blue line. Blunt tipped by Zachariah. De Laurentiis ducks under him for a shot on goal. De Laurentiis got beyond Zachariah, Nill as well, and rifled a quick shot toward the right pad of Richard. And now a whistle and stoppage in play. Everyone beginning to congregate back to the circle. We're bunched up in behind the Ancaster net there for a second following the whistle. 13:39 remaining, first period of play. The Ancaster Avalanche with a 1-0 lead. A 3-1 deficit in the series. Caledonia winning the first 3 games, and Ancaster avoiding elimination with a 5-3 victory Tuesday night. Pass Faliro. Abraham back to pick it up for Caledonia. Ratchford back in for the Corvairs as well following the injury on the far wall Tuesday night. Caledonia back to 5 defensemen with the re-addition of Austin McEnany. McEnany served a 1-game suspension in game number 4. Forsland out for 1 game. So the 6th defenseman, Forsland, missing for Caledonia tonight. Nagy whips it around the far side wall. McEnany keeps it in, fires just wide, and it's tipped to the near corner. McEnany close to tying the game along the far side. The puck eventually hitting the back wall and squirting out the near corner. No one there to tip in the rebound. A good chance for Caledonia both ways, both on the McEnany shot, but unfortunately no one at the side of the net for Caledonia on the near side. Sinclair from the left dot wins it cleanly. McEnany whips it around the wall. Gomes to the far side, the poke ahead for Sinclair. Treemstra on him. Nagy runs his man into the corner. That was Fontana. Fontana with a goal on Tuesday night. Play stuck up in the near corner. Gomes with his back to the play. Yes, Fontana with the tie-in goal, the first period goal at the 13:11 mark that we mentioned off the top of the broadcast, and also that shot that sat along the end line. Sinclair from beside the right circle. McEnany plays it in deep. Fontana this time from the other side of the end line, turns around and fires wide out the far side. McEnany jams it off the wall. Gomes with Fontana behind him. A nice move by Fontana. The rebound, and he scores! Cosimo Fontana grabs his own rebound and ties the game up at 1 with 11:27 left in the first. Fontana, a nice move around the right winger, bore down on the defenseman, got the quick shot away low to the ice, grabbed the rebound to the right stick side of Richard, and Cosimo Fontana ties this one up at 1. Fontana slipping it in between the feet of Blake Richard. Fontana with his 5th goal of the playoffs, 9th point. Loose puck, far side. Blunt responds with a long pass. Ryan Nill picks it off. Nill with it once again, plays it off the left skate up to the forehand and plays a long pass deep into the Ancaster end. Here's Purdy, a turnover. Tried to swipe it to the side of the net. Zachariah plays it in, Entma out to play it, and a whistle going with 10:38 remaining in the first period. The Corvairs moving from right to left on your screen, wearing their traditional white uniform with blue and gold trim, and the Avalanche wearing burgundy jerseys with blue trim, moving from left to right on your screen in a jersey much similar to that of the Colorado Avalanche. Balancing right side to Lushcombe. Lushcombe looking for his second power play goal. Down to the end line, and Abraham tips it wide. Farley the quick shot, and Abraham had to be careful there not to put it in his own net. Balancing backing up, Caledonia able to clear down the far side. 1:30 remaining in the penalty to Purdy. Ancaster with 3 power play goals in the playoffs, 2 back on Tuesday night. Or excuse me, I believe it was the Corvairs allowing the 3 goals through the playoffs. We'll have a look at that in a second. McLennan to Balancing back to McLennan. Patton the tip, and the loose puck comes right to Farley. He got a quick shot away. Entma gets the right pad down, and Sinclair clearing for Caledonia and going off on a change. Ancaster with 7 power play goals. No, 8, excuse me. Getting my numbers mixed up and watching McEnany down in the corner at the same time. Patton plays it to the left, intercepted by Hughes to Lushcombe's side of the left circle. The slight back pass to Burnett. Burnett unable to keep it onside. So Ancaster with 8 power play goals and 52 man advantages coming into tonight. 1 power play goal tonight, moving that total to 9, 15.38% on the power play coming into tonight. Slightly improved by the Lushcombe power play goal, 4 seconds into Trublin's penalty. Caledonia perfect through round 1 in penalty killing, allowing 3 power play goals and 42 times shorthanded, a 92.86 penalty kill percentage for second in the playoffs. Treemstra to neutral ice on the far side, tipped in by Chris Clack. Clack out for game 4, back in the lineup tonight. Lepore the pass to De Laurentiis. He's tripped up by Burnell, and Owen Burnell will head to the sin bin to sit down for 2 minutes. The trip on De Laurentiis was 7:55 remaining in the period. Scratches for tonight, Jordan Peacock, the number 7, 225-pound forward, out for Caledonia. Jamie Forsland, the number 27 defender, out serving a 1-game suspension. Also scratched number 98, Jacob Bush. On the Ancaster side, Jesse Hilton, the number 4 forward, not dressed. Donato Cipriano, I believe brother of Max Cipriano on the Welland Junior Canadians. Don't quote me on that one. Lepore down on to the right wing. Side of the circle is De Laurentiis. Cross-ice pass for Blunt. Luke Zupan out for Ancaster. Number 11 serving the second of a 2-game suspension as Burnett throws it deep down the far wall, killing the first 30 seconds of the Ancaster penalty kill. De Laurentiis from the left wing Slide steps in the neutral zone, crosses at the right side of the line. Blunt top of the line. Lepore winds up, and his shot catches Burnett. A rebound by Hoare. Blunt the shot, an open De Laurentiis. Fans at the top of the right circle. Got 50% of the back of the blade on it, De Laurentiis did. 52 seconds remaining in the penalty to Owen Burnell now, as Blunt brings it up ice and back to center. Glove down by the left hand of Richard, and cleared the rest of the way to the Caledonia side of the blue line by Ben Hughes. Hughes, the leading scorer for the Avalanche, ranking 18th in the league through the playoffs. Van Horn whips it around the boards. Sidewall, Hoare to the right for Ratchford. Van Horn, top of the line, Ratchford this time. Plays it inside the right circle. The shot by Ratchford. And the rising, fluttering shot partially blocked by the upper body of Cole Nagy. Patton loses his. Ratchford on the backhand from center. Nagy caught enough of his sight of vision to cut the puck loose on the far side. Police racing out of the box now is Burnell. Van Horn to the right side. Sinclair loses the puck at the side wall to Ryan Nill. And McEnany jams it up the wall to avoid the forecheck of Owen Burnell. Purdy to the net. Patton on the follow through, and he fires wide on the near side. Moran, Faliro turned around. He falls down at his own blue line. Burnett, the inbound feed, too far for Burnell, who goes and gets it in the far corner. Purdy now shakes off two checks. The Avalanche back off and change up their forward lines. Moran to the far side, tipped in by McEnany. Bramwell inside the right circle, interfered with by Nill, and no call by any of the four officials on the ice. The fans wanting a call on Ryan Nill for the interference on Bramwell. Bramwell now calling for the puck inside the slot. Tanev falls down and rifles a shot as he falls along the ice to the near corner. Nill, Bramwell turned around as Nill and Bramwell still wrestling for it. Tanev top of the blue line. McEnany deflects it to the side wall, and Lushcombe picks it up and plays it back to the neutral zone. Faliro ahead to Hughes, a heavy hit by Tanev. Tanev took his legs out. Bramwell below the end line. A fast-paced first period. Our apologies for not getting a commercial break in. McLennan, the backhand to the other side. We'll get you to that at the next whistle. Outbound feed by Burnett. Patton catches a piece of it. Lushcombe the shot. And it hits the outside of the net near side. Nagy the high shot, and Sinclair makes the save. With the score 1-1 in the GOJHL Golden Horseshoe Conference semifinal, you're watching GOJHL hockey on YouTube as we pause for this break with 3:23 remaining in the period. Van Horn up for Lepore. Lepore hit hard by Burnett, sidewall. De Laurentiis side of the circle, rifles a quick pass to Hoare, and Van Horn standing directly on the left side of the blue line, tried to make a pass down the side wall. On the second opportunity, he had to back up into the neutral zone. Lepore plays it in deep. Richard out to play it. A reminder, this game brought to you by real estate sales representative Roland Archer of Remax Land Exchange. Police tries to tip it ahead for Cole Nagy. You can call Roland if you're interested in acquiring a piece of land or a new home at 519-755-7409. As Balanson checks his man Abraham into the corner. Abraham ducks off the check to Fontana. Fontana turns around, plays it into the corner for Sinclair. Gomes the centering pass. Tried to hit Fontana at the near side of the net. You can email Roland at rolandarcher.ca. You can visit him online at remaxlandexchange.ca. Gomes in the corner, side of the net. Fontana, the quick shot falling to the ice. Checked by Ryan Cox. Cox still draped over the back of Fontana. Richard tight to the post on the stick side to make the save with 1:42 remaining in the period. Other games in the GOJHL tonight, London and Leamington. They started 50 minutes before us, so we'll have a final score before we go off the air. Also a 7-10 game, LaSalle and Sarnia. Both those series tied at 2. Shot, Entma catching a piece. May have been partially blocked on the way to the net off the far corner. Gomes below the end line. The other series of importance, the other semifinal in the Golden Horseshoe Conference, shot by Sinclair from the dot, McEnany to the far half wall. Picked off by Burnett, the high arc pass, and Moran watches on as Entma puts up his left arm to signify an icing. St. Catharines with the 2-1 series lead. De Laurentiis in the draw from the left circle. Brown the turnaround shot. Hughes to the corner. Hoare on his back. Van Horn up the far wall. Hoare grabs it in behind the Ancaster net before turning around. De Laurentiis over top the left circle. Loses possession to Burnett. Played in deep by the Avalanche. Van Horn back for the Corvairs. Brown to Blunt. Under 30 seconds to go. Shot from far out off the blocker of Richard on the Ryan Blunt shot. Blunt once again tied up behind the Ancaster net by Nil. Played in behind the net. Leamington registering a 2-0 victory last night to tie that series in the West at 2. Sarnia with a 4-2 victory last night to also tie that series in the West. The buzzer going. Goals in the first. Blake Lushcombe on the power play at 4:43. And Cosimo Fontana grabbing his own rebound at the near corner, sliding it through the legs of Blake Richard at the 8:33 mark. And at the end of one at the GOJHL Golden Horseshoe Conference semifinal with the Caledonia Corvairs in the 3-1 series lead. It's the Caledonia Corvairs 1 and the Ancaster Avalanche also at 1. 11-4 of the shots on goal favoring the Caledonia Corvairs through one period. Blake Lushcombe on the power play with a game's first goal at the 4:43 mark. Ben Hughes and Brett Farley assisting. And then Cosimo Fontana responding for Caledonia from Gomes at the 8:33 mark to tie things up. On the out-of-town scoreboard in the other conference semi, it's the St. Catharines Falcons 5 and the Welland Junior Canadians 4 as we take the opening draw. Purdy and Zachariah, or Hughes, excuse me, to begin the second period. Ben Hughes wins it with a sharp backhand back to Burnett inside the line. Treemstra out the far corner. Moran turns around. Here's a break. Purdy to the net. Burnett cuts across and nails Purdy. Atkinson with a delayed offside call. Not a arm up for the hit on Purdy. And Purdy up limping badly. Treemstra to center. Tipped in by Zachariah. Radford back for Caledonia. Lushcombe tries to slip around him. Pass through the neutral zone. Hoare with a back pass. Lepore picks it up at the other side of center. Plays it inside the Ancaster line. Balanson picks it off across to Nil. And shot in deep. Entma out to play it. Radford to the far corner. De Laurentiis up to center, looking for Lepore. Tipped by Cole Nagy. Moran down the right wing board. Richard out to play it. The pass in behind the back of Nil. Lepore on the backhand, side of the net. And Richard covering up on the near corner with Matt Hoare and Gomes parked on the doorstep. Stratford goals. Tyler Morrison at the 38-second mark of the first. Manny Manns at 11:51 of the first. In the second, Jacob Parasato and Connor Timmons, 2:34 and 2:53, 19 seconds apart. And the Falcons have just scored. Check out www.gojhl.ca. Go to the side menu, click on St. Catharines or Welland. Well, actually, go to the scoreboard portion in the center drop-down menu, shot by Abraham. You'll find the box score in the center drop-down menu. Click on that. You'll find up to the second score, so you'll find info on that fifth St. Catharines goal. St. Catharines winning game number 3, 6-0 to take a 2-1 series lead. So St. Catharines beginning to assert themselves in that series now. The 5-0 lead for St. Catharines in Welland tonight. Welland winning on Sunday night at home. Burnell around the defender Van Horn, the quick shot far side. And Entma making the save. 2 minutes and 44 seconds into the frame. So after just 4 shots in the first, Burnell trying to find some speed down the far side, trying to once again move the Avalanche out in front. This game a must-win for the Ancaster Avalanche, or their season is over. Blunt plays it up to the right side of the line. Fontana has it chipped away by St. Pierre. Van Horn behind the end line. Sinclair up the right wing for Fontana. Pass in behind the back of Nathan Gomes. Treemstra hit Gomes on the far side before it's picked up by St. Pierre, played back to center. Burnell on the opposite side this time, and fires a shot to the left glove of Entma. Burnell, 2 consecutive shots for Ancaster. Burnell with a goal and 3 assists for 4 points through 8.5 games of the Ancaster playoffs. Actually, 6:28 to the midway point of this one. Shot by Bramwell. And Richard catching a piece of it before the rest of the disc goes off the outside of the net. Zachariah tripped up. McEnany back for Caledonia in behind his own net. Purdy to center from the blue line. Purdy in a hurry. Moves up 2 lines. Quick pass to Tanev. And it's tossed wide on the far side. Zachariah Hughes, the loose puck, creates a 2-on-1. Hughes elects to take the shot with Lushcombe on the left wing. 2-on-2 the other way now. Purdy the shot low, using Burnett as a screen, and Richard hangs on to make the save. Richard 19th in the league in goaltending leaders, a .358 goals against average. Entma 4th. Sinclair rather in the lead, but Mark Sinclair playing less games in these playoffs than Entma. 3 games, 2 in the first round for Sinclair versus Entma's 5 games. Entma playing 4 of the 5 games in this series, including tonight. Lepore up the half wall. Police takes it away, drops it to Burnett. Nagy from the right wing, the slide pass along the ice. Entma out to play it. Rochford up the near boards, picked off by Police. Clack to the net. Clack on the far side under the right circle looking for a shot. Clack with 2 goals and 5 assists for 7 points in the playoffs. Did not play in game number 4, the 5-3 Ancaster victory. Pass ahead to Faliro, broken up by Van Horn. Trublin down the left wing, fakes a shot, moves around McLennan, and tipped at the side of the net by Jake Brown. Brown unable to get much wood on it, and Richard the save along the ice. 14:23 remaining in the period. The Avalanche change lines. We'll take a break. You're watching the Golden Horseshoe Conference semifinal, game number 5 on YouTube. Patton won the draw cleanly to Blunt from the left side. Burnell tips it ahead. Burnell underneath Van Horn. Faliro, and giving a right hand to Faliro is Trublin. No call on the play, simply incidental contact on the way by. A slight right hand by Trublin. Didn't mean any harm on that play. As Patton and St. Pierre have a discussion at the red line before they move the draw back inside the Ancaster zone off to the right circle. Sinclair and Burnell in the draw. Burnell, the best forward for Ancaster so far in this second period. Sinclair, Gomes on the right wing, Fontana on the left. Burnell moves to the left wing, and in the draw was Ryan Cox. Caledonia wins it back to Van Horn. Shot by Gomes, blocked by Cox, and Cox brings it the other way, trying to find a 3-on-2, but he goes off on a change with Burnell. as the Caledonia defense back, and now Blunt brings it to center. In a hurry, Blunt fires it up over top the Ancaster net and out of play, just a couple inches into the netting. This game brought to you by real estate sales representative Roland Archer of Remax Land Exchange. If you're in the market to buy or sell a property, give them a call at 519-755-7409 or email them at roland@rolandarcher.ca. You can visit them online at remaxlandexchange.ca. Bramwell tips it ahead. Balanson deflects it the other way. Puck loose in the neutral zone, and the Avalanche still trying to gain possession. Bramwell, the drop pass, Purdy, the hard shot, and Tanev follows through on the rebound. Tanev crosses over in front of the net. Kyle Tanev with the semi-wraparound. The two quick shots by Tanev. The initial shot by Purdy from the high slot angle just to the right. And Tanev directly to the net. Tanev with 5 goals and 10 assists for 15 points coming into tonight. Shot by Moran blocked. Fairly back the other way to the top of the Caledonia blue line before Lepore plays it in. Shot by Hoare, side of the net. Hoare tries to tip it free on the backhand. The pass out from behind the net by Lepore, and Hoare tried to deposit it. Richard with the big pad save, angled just off to his right. Hoare with a chance to poke in a second rebound. He moves to the left wing for the face-off from the left circle. De Laurentiis wins it. McEnany tried to make a play before Police intercepted, brought it the other way. Treemstra, a hard pass off the far board. Moran back for Caledonia. Clack on him. Hoare plays it to the other side for McEnany. McEnany, the pass over center for De Laurentiis, now deep in the corner. Hoare to the backhand behind the Ancaster net. Out to the far side for De Laurentiis. Hoare, the twisting backhand. Matt Hoare with a sneaky move using his long reach. Shot by Lepore along the ice. Richard tips it away. Hoare and Lepore at the feet of Richard. And a slashing call coming up to Treemstra's heading toward the box. I thought Lepore or Hoare might get a penalty for interference. That not the case. Treemstra some kind of retaliation. Caledonia to the power play with 11:52 left in the second period. Patton to McEnany. Blunt plays it to McEnany on the right side of the neutral zone. Another cross-ice feed to Brown. Blunt, the backhander off the back wall. Patton into the corner, and Burnett able to take it away. Burnell to the neutral zone for Cox, and Cox backhands it out the rest of the way. McEnany to the neutral zone with speed. Caledonia right back the other way with 1:22 remaining in the penalty to Treemstra. Blunt has a look. Hughes on him, throws it to the other side for McEnany. Brown lets it go for Patton in behind the Ancaster net. Trublin to the forehand, avoids a defender. Pass back to Blunt across to the left. McEnany, an attempted tip by Patton, but Burnett lifts his stick and plays it from the side wall up and out inside the Caledonia blue line. Tipped in by Patton. Richard out to play it. Whips it around the board, but not out. Now it's out. Clack with speed beyond De Laurentiis. De Laurentiis chops at his left side. No penalty. De Laurentiis getting just enough of the stick to avoid penalty, and now he goes the other way and fires a hard wrist shot to the left glove of Richard. Excellent shift by De Laurentiis, playing both ways as Clack on the attempted break. De Laurentiis chopped at his stick at the last second and quickly sped down the right wing for a shot on goal. Lepore over top the circle, short drop to Van Horn, out the side wall for De Laurentiis, and broken up by Nil. Entma leaving it for the defender Van Horn. Under 10 minutes to go now. The penalty to Triemstra about to expire. Triemstra now on for the Avalanche, cleared up to the line. On a clean pass, Triemstra would have had a break, but Triemstra elects to go on a change. Was one-on-one with the defender Van Horn before two players got back from Caledonia for Caledonia at the left and right. Shot by Hughes. A second shot by Nil at the right side of the blue line. And the whistle going with 9:26 remaining in the frame. Both teams change lines. We're still tied at 2 at the GOJHL Golden Horseshoe Conference game number 5. No, we're not going to take a break here. We'll go to a quick face-off. Hughes to Zachariah, back in behind the end line. McEnany beyond the Caledonia line to the left side of Entma. Bramwell down the other way. Tanev to the net with Burnett on him. Moran has a look. Hughes chases Moran to the outside. Moran gets a shot down underneath the left circle anyway. Moran with it, side wall, heading to the net. Purdy, pass along the ice. No one at the right circle for Caledonia. Lushcombe digs it out. Blake Lushcombe with the first Ancaster goal on the power play at 4:43 of the first. No scoring here in the second period. A 5-0 St. Catharines lead in Welland at last check in game number 4 there. The Corvairs looking to advance to the conference finals. Be the second consecutive year for the Corvairs to the conference final. Of course, winning it all the Sutherland Cup last year. Now we'll take a break with 8:22 remaining in the second. You're watching GOJHL Hockey on YouTube. Back to action. Burnell from center angles down the left wing. Abraham chases him to the outside. Abraham catching a piece of Burnell. Thought the penalty might go on Abraham. Ratchford for holding, perhaps. A slash coming up on Todd Ratchford. Ancaster looking for their 10th power play goal of the playoffs. Hughes wins it to the right over to Brennan McLennan. Across to Ballinson. Ballinson to the far wall for Hughes. Hughes into the corner. Lushcombe plays it to the right over to Hughes. Hughes the cross ice feed. And Lushcombe can't handle the pass off the board beside the right circle. It springs Sinclair free. Blunt back trailing the play, and he fires a hard shot. Richard the save. Caledonia knocked out in the division semifinal in year number 1 in Caledonia back 2 seasons ago, back when they played in the Midwest Division to the Stratford Culletons. The Culletons once again moving ahead to the conference final with a 5-2 victory over the Kitchener Dutchmen. Play back to center. Clack tries to touch it up down the left wing. McEnany cuts him off. Bramwell the bouncing puck at the far wall. McEnany falls down in front of his own net, gets back up and fires a clearing pass to the left side of the line. Burnett knocks it down. Fake shot by Ballinson. 57 seconds remaining on the Ratchford penalty. Ballinson firing wide. Shot along the end line by Clack. Burnett saw him out the far side. Clack rifled a hard pass right along the line. Eventually it ended up on the near corner where Hughes plays it now. He moves in behind the Caledonia net. Falling down as Clack. He loses an edge on the right side. Fairly the disc under the line to Ballinson across to the right. Ballinson's pass. Burnett unable to keep it onside. Plays it ahead to Hughes. Backhander to Nagy. And the pass to Nagy broken up by McEnany. Purdy back down the left wing. And the Corvairs to full strength with 6:02 remaining in the period. Stratford with the 5-2 victory last night, advancing to the conference final, the Midwestern Division final, to face the Elmira Sugar Kings. Elmira sweeping last year's conference champions, the Waterloo Siskins. We saw them here in the Sutherland Cup semi-final here last year. Caledonia winning in 5 games before moving on to the finals and raising the Sutherland Cup banner. Van Horn behind his own net. Lushcombe looks on. Abraham up the left wing. Elects to pass to Brown, Van Horn does. Brown plays it in, out to play it as Richard. He plays it out to the side wall for his defender, Treemstra. Trublin in the corner, gives to Brown. Brown shakes off a check to the left circle. Shot along the ice, and it's blocked by Cox and brought the other way. A short pass to Lushcombe, broken up, neutral zone. Trublin, the slight pass into the slot. Patton unable to receive the pass. Lushcombe the other way. Shot wide of the net. Play going both ways now. 4:26 remaining in the period. Tipped ahead by Faliro. Ancaster now backing up on the forecheck by De Laurentiis and Hoare. Entma plays it out the sideboard, left by Blunt. Hoare unable to make a play down the far wall. De Laurentiis cross ice feed for Lepore. And Lepore is offside at the right wing with exactly 4 minutes to go in the period. We'll take another break. You're watching the GOJHL Conference Semi-Final on YouTube. De Laurentiis and Hughes in the draw. McEnany wins it. Moran the shot. It sails wide into the near corner. Lepore picks it up, places it across the line for De Laurentiis. Moran moved off the left side, got caught up ice at the half wall. But McEnany and Lepore back for Caledonia. Shot the rebound. McEnany a low shot in between the pads of Richard. Lushcombe on the break. He beats Lepore. Lushcombe to the backhand, and he fires wide off the end board. Entma cutting the angle far side. 2-on-1 for Caledonia. Hoare the shot, and they score! Matt Hoare with the shot. I don't know who that hit, but it trickled in the far side. Looks like Hoare is going to get credit for the goal. Hoare the shot, and it just sneaked in the far corner. 3:13 remaining in the period. And the Caledonia Corvairs jump out to their first lead of game number 5. Fontana down the right, snaps a wrister. Hoare unassisted, snapped a wrist shot from the right circle on the 2-on-1. Richard caught a piece of it perhaps. I'm going to have to go back and take a look at that one myself. A player on the left wing for Caledonia on the 2-on-1, but it was Hoare credited with the goal. Burnett dumps it in. The long shot in. Entma cut the shot off close to the neck area. Looked like Entma knocked it down with the chest protector. 2:33 to go, second period of play. Matt Hoare with his 14th goal of the playoffs. His 25th point to extend his scoring lead in the playoffs. Christian Ruskowski of the Waterloo Siskins in the number 2 spot. 6 goals and 12 assists for 18 points. 2-on-1, Burnell from the left. And Tanev running his man into the boards. Burnett, the cross-ice pass for Burnell fell heavily into the boards on the Lepore check. Beside the left circle, shot by Ratchford. The high shot by Ratchford. And Richard with a glove save, getting the left hand high in the air. 1:56 to go, second period of play. Of course, Ruskowski in the number 2 spot. His season now done, so he'll remain at 18 points. The Siskins beat out 4-1 on the, swept by the Elmira Sugar Kings with the 6-3 victory back on Tuesday night. Lushcombe over the right side of the line. The backhand shot goes wide along the ice. Zachariah to the net, tries to poke it to the corner. Entma down to his knees near corner to make the save. Ancaster with some stick work by Hughes at the side of the net. And the Caledonia fans off to our right wanting a penalty. Lushcombe to sit down for 2 minutes. 1:27 remaining in the period. Both Caledonia goals tonight at even strength. Caledonia looking for their 11th power play goal through 2 rounds of playoffs. A win tonight will send them to the Golden Horseshoe Conference Final to play either the Welland Junior Canadians or the St. Catharines Falcons. Shot goes wide by De Laurentiis. Hoare from beside the left circle to Blunt. St. Catharines, the likely Caledonia opponent as of right now. Blunt to the right circle for Lepore. Hoare over top the right circle back to Lepore. Hoare side wall in behind the end line. And the shot by Hoare, Richard knocking it aside and cleared the rest of the way by Burnett. Laporta, Blunt, Caledonia now leaving their own zone. 37 seconds remaining in the second. Blunt plays it around the end line, and it's intercepted by Police and cleared the length of the ice. Entma to Ratchford, up to the top of the blue line for Hoare. Treemstra trying to run him out of the play. Ratchford to the sidewall. Back to Ratchford off the return feed by Hoare. Ratchford unable to keep it onside. And Jake Brown offside as a result of touching up the disc in behind the Ancaster net. Face-off to come all the way back down inside the Caledonia line. St. Catharines with a 6-0 victory in game number 3. Tyler Jackson, Doucette, Manny Mans with 2 goals. Tyler Jackson again at 13:53 of the third period. And Brandon Cerconi rounding out the scoring at the 17:36 mark. That game back on Tuesday night. St. Catharines at last check, the final face-off won by Hughes as the buzzer goes. Matt Hoare with the only goal of the second period unassisted, getting back to our earlier topic of conversation. At last check, St. Catharines with the big 5-0 lead. At the end of 2 periods of play, Matt Hoare with the only second period goal unassisted with 3:13 remaining in the second period on the shot from inside the right circle. At the end of 2 periods of play with Caledonia in the 3-1 series lead in the Golden Horseshoe Conference semifinal. It's the Caledonia Corvairs 2 and the Ancaster Avalanche 1 at the end of 2 periods of play in game number 5.
Sarnia 3-3. Third intermission. St. Catharines 7-0.
Back for perhaps the final period of the GOJHL Golden Horseshoe Conference semifinal. Well, at least on this end anyway, the St. Catharines Falcons and Welland Junior Canadians in the other semi. St. Catharines 7 and the Welland Junior Canadians no score. So the Falcons really putting the boots to the Junior Canadians right now. That one late in the third. We'll get you a final score as soon as we can. LaSalle and Sarnia tied up at 3. The series also tied up at 2 apiece as the Corvairs win the opening draw of the third. Blunt to Lepore. Bramwell cutting across to the right wing. Burnett tries to play it ahead. He falls on the right side of Hoare, who makes a trip to the ice. Burnell with Cox heading to the net out the far side. And the penalty to Blake Lushcombe now over. The Corvairs back to full strength. Just 40 seconds into period number 3. Leamington 5-4 over London. London with 1-0 and 2-1 series leads before Leamington tied the series last night with a 2-0 victory in London. That one late in the third as well. About 6 minutes left in Leamington. 6-5 Leamington. Caledonia trying to win tonight, ahead currently courtesy of the Matt Hoare unassisted goal in the second period. Sinclair on the draw with Hughes from the right dot. Sinclair back to Abraham. Linesman unhappy with the draw. They'll do it again. Sinclair proceeds to do the same thing. Here's the scores now. Well, the PA man's a little behind my last check. So LaSalle and Sarnia in overtime. So we may not get you a final on that one, but we will do our best. And very close to the end of the game in Leamington. Leamington looking to take a 3-2 series lead. London as well, as if they can tie that one up and force an overtime. Sinclair the shot. Gomes fires a hard shot in tight off the bottom of Richards' right pad. Lushcombe brings it the other way 2 minutes into the third. Ratchford tries to backhand it up the wall. Zacharias side of the net. And Lushcombe picks it up and clears. Lushcombe with his second. The first goal of the game at the 4:43 mark on the power play. Fontana responded with his fifth of the playoffs from Gomes at 8:33. Fontana, a nifty little move. Angled toward the right, moved around a defender, fired a quick shot, grabbed his own rebound. Here's Purdy to the net. Bramwell loose underneath two Ancaster players. Lushcombe, one of those two men, and Burnett, the other, now going off on a change. The Avalanche make a full change. Purdy, Tanev, and Bramwell on for the Corvairs. McEnany and Moran on the points. Caledonia dressing just 5 defensemen tonight with the deletion of Jamie Forsland. Forsland suspended 1 game. Zupan, the other suspension in this series. Luke Zupan serving a 2-game suspension for the fighting back in game number 3, the 8-1 Caledonia victory. Purdy underneath the end line now. He's taken out of the play by Treemstra, so Bramwell picks it up. Plays it around the right skate of Police. The shot by Bramwell. Tanev parked on the doorstep. He's in tight to the net right at the right side of the blue paint. Tanev looking for his 6th goal of the playoffs there. Caledonia with a fresh line out. Patton with Brown on the left wing, Trublin on the right, Nil opposite him. And Brown wins the draw underneath Faliro. The shot by Ratchford, and immediately picked off by Blake, who holds on for a faceoff. Patton in the draw, same spot, same men. Faliro moved to the right wing that time. Cox took the drop. Puck under the end line. Brown, Nil on him. Both men with their back to the play. Brown plays it to the side of the net for Trublin. Trublin forces a cough up of the puck. Cox on the right side, shot by Faliro. Abraham tries to play it around the board. Brown the rest of the way. And an icing with Nil back for Ancaster. A win tonight and the Corvairs move on. A reminder, check www.GOJHL.ca because should the Corvairs end things tonight, they'll still need a yet-to-be-confirmed opponent. Right now, that's looking more and more like the St. Catharines Falcons. Lushcombe back for the Avalanche. The next game in that series tomorrow night in St. Catharines at the Jack Gatecliff Arena, 7:30 p.m. Leamington and London play tomorrow night in London. Game number 6 of that series. Stratford and Kitchener already done. Stratford upsetting the number 2 seed Dutchman. De Laurentiis out the far side, backhands it up the wall. Lushcombe stops it up and fires a shot from far out. Entma the save, 15:09 remaining in the period. We'll take a break in the GOJHL Golden Horseshoe Conference semifinal. You're watching GOJHL hockey on YouTube. Gomes, the drop pass to Moran. Police on the sidewall. Played ahead by Sinclair to Gomes. Fontana trying to pick up speed toward the net. Broken up by Aaron St. Pierre. He immediately plays it to the right side of the Caledonia blue line. Sinclair tries to chop it ahead. Treemstra back to Police. St. Pierre around the far board. Fontana the shot. Under the end line goes Sinclair. De Laurentiis falling down. Treemstra pleading his case, or that was Gomes, excuse me. Shot by McEnany, sails wide and off the end board, and picked up and cleared by Chris Clack. McEnany backed up for Caledonia. Plays it off the wall underneath the Caledonia bench. Balancing the backhand pass for Treemstra. Treemstra shakes off the forecheck of Sinclair up to Hughes and tipped in by Zachariah. Zachariah with the opening goal of game number 4, the 5-3 Ancaster win on Tuesday night. Balancing with the 2 third period goals, the power play markers at 2:33 and 8:47. No, excuse me, those were the Caledonia goals. The balance and goals coming at 33 seconds and 1:47. Caledonia serving a two-man penalty. Ancaster on the 5-on-3 on the first balance and goal back on Tuesday night. Police getting 2 goals in the middle frame. Burnett up to center. Rochford breaks it up, plays it down the right wing for Purdy. And Zachariah chops it away from him down the far wall. Cox down the near side with Trublin. The turnover, Faliro the shot. And the turnaround by Burnett. Purdy picks off a inbound feed into the slot from McLennan. Blunt off the far side wall. Heavy hit by Rochford on Cox. Entma, the short pass back to Blunt around the wall for Rochford. Puck up in the air for a brief second. Deflected off the top of Burnell. Crashing to the ice goes a Caledonia player. That was Jake Brown. Shot by Treemstra. Patton on him. Patton blocked the shot nicely. The rebound, and Nagy scores. 2 Avalanche players parked out in front. Cole Nagy with the equalizer, and with 11:47 remaining in the third, Burnell the assist. Owen Burnell pesky all night. Burnell the initial shot from the far corner. Cole Nagy grabbed the rebound, and the Ancaster Avalanche tie up game number 5. So the Corvairs looking to move on, and the Ancaster Avalanche now bettering their chances to see a game 6 at the Morgan Firestone Arena. Faliro drawing the first assist, Burnell the second. And at 8:39, the Ancaster Avalanche improved their chances of seeing a game 6 at Morgan Firestone Arena, 7:30 p.m. in Ancaster Saturday night if necessary. McEnany plays it off the far wall. Sinclair with Gomes. Sinclair goes to the backhand. Tries to cut in from the right side under the end line. Moran off the blue line to play it for Caledonia. Nagy back to the line but not out. Sinclair winds up and fires a shot tipped into the corner by Adam Burnett. Gomes, McLennan on him. Gomes shakes one hit. Down to the ice on the second hit by Cole Nagy. Clark winds up, fakes a shot, goes around McEnany, and Chris Clark firing a shot off the underside of the crossbar. And Clark slaps his stick to the ice in frustration. A cross check here coming up to Gomes. 33 seconds to the midway point, Caledonia of the third. Caledonia out shooting Ancaster 29-13 through 2. 18-9 the shots on goal. Nagy with the tying goal at 8:13 for Ancaster. Hughes back to the left side for McLennan. Balancing backing up now. Play off the side board. Purdy to Bramwell. Bramwell balancing the lone man back. The shot, they score! Bramwell between the legs of Richard. The quick shot, 2 inches off the ice by Bramwell near corner. First moved around balancing. The quick little move. Connor Bramwell puts the Corvairs back out in front on the power play. Or shorthanded, excuse me. It was Gomes in the box on the cross check. Lushcombe inbound feed, and Fairley gets enough of it to tip it to the far corner. Saved by Entma. Coughing it up at the blue line is Burnett. Bramwell in again, the shot. Bramwell goes low. And no penalty on the chop by Burnett. Shot, Entma the save. Fairly in behind the end line for Hughes. Treemstra to Burnett, the wind up, the shot, the save. Fairly catching a piece, trying to redirect it. What a shoulder right save by Kevin Entma. The redirect by Brett Farley. Burnett down to the side wall. Connor Bramwell shorthanded and unassisted with 10-12 remaining in the frame. The 9:48 mark of the third. And it's picked up and cleared by Fontana. And the Corvairs change up their penalty killers. Treemstra from neutral ice back to the red line. Sinclair to the far side for Abraham. He picks up and clears inside the Ancaster blue line. Balancing to Burnett. The penalty to Caledonia now expiring. Bramwell just on now. Into the corner goes Nagy. He goes farther underneath for Clack. A hit by Gomes. Back to center comes Abraham, and he tips it in. Hoare to the far corner. He had the only goal of the second period, unassisted with 3:13 remaining in the period. Clock to the net. Hoare plays it in deep for Caledonia, balancing back for the Avalanche. Nil to Cox. Faliro, the forehand pass to the neutral zone, chopped down by Caledonia and played in by Lepore on the other side. Nil behind his own net up to neutral ice. De Laurentiis gloves it down with a left hand to Lepore and broken up by Balancin. Played in deep by Ancaster's Cox. Nil to the far side for Balancin. Burnell looking for Faliro, and the pass too far for Faliro goes for icing. This game brought to you by real estate sales representative Roland Archer of Remax Land Exchange. We'll bring you a pause in that ad while we bring you the final scores from the other games. Sinclair wins the draw. Back to McEnany. Wraps it around the boards. LaSalle with a 4-3 victory. That unofficial. And Leamington with a unofficial 5-4 victory over London. The LaSalle-Sarnia game going to overtime. But again, both of those games unofficial, so be sure to check www.gojhl.ca. And the St. Catharines Falcons hammering the Welland Junior Canadians by a final score of 8-1. St. Catharines now taking a 3-1 series lead, going back home to the Jack Gatecliff Arena tomorrow night. Also check the GOJHL website. In the event of a Caledonia win, you'll want to keep your eye on the next opponent for Caledonia. The GOJHL Conference Final. Ancaster with another 6 minutes and 12 seconds to tie things up here in the third. Bramwell to the corner. Purdy, a backhand to the right side of the line. Blunt winds up. Tanev parked at the front of the bottom of the slot. Centering pass, Zachariah looking for his first goal since the first period of game number 4. Zachariah with the goal at 8:54 of the first on Tuesday night. Shot wide as the whistle goes. Blake Lushcombe to the box. And Lushcombe says the magic words, and now his night done as he's escorted to the Ancaster bench. De Laurentiis to the draw, left circle, Hoare on the left wing. Bramwell on the right looking for his second. Bramwell unassisted and short-handed with his first goal of the playoffs. Good timing on Bramwell's part. Bramwell missing all 4 games of the Pelham series. Blunt to the corner. Lepore down the side wall for De Laurentiis to Hoare, back to De Laurentiis. Hoare under the end line and now tripped up in behind the Ancaster net. Blunt to the underside of the right circle, and it's shoveled wide by Bramwell. Blunt across to Lepore to the half wall right circle. De Laurentiis back to Blunt, or it was De Laurentiis beside the right circle, excuse me. 1:15 remaining in the penalty to Aaron St. Pierre. And when the Caledonia power play ends, we'll take our final break of the evening, barring overtime. McEnany on the clean draw, won by Sinclair. Fontana back to Sinclair. Sinclair to McEnany, across to Sinclair left side, and tipped out a play by Lucas Treemstra. 58 seconds remaining for the Corvairs to connect on the power play. Sinclair left circle. Out to the right stick side of Blake Richard. Burnell wins the draw with a forehand down low. Unable to clear it off the sidewall. Caledonia keeps it in. Fontana to the end line. McEnany has a look, almost lost it. So he played it over to Ratchford on the right side of the blue line. Sinclair to the side wall. Burnell breaks it up, plays ahead to Cox. Ancaster with a 2-on-2 with 26 seconds remaining in the Caledonia penalty. Patton a possible break down the right wing, but the puck goes in behind his back, too far for Patton to receive the pass. Abraham Hughes on him, broken up by Ballinson. Plays it one step over his own blue line, and Hughes clearing it the rest of the way in. Ratchford out the far side. Zachariah tries to place a stick between his legs, so Ratchford picking up speed down the other side this time. Patton's side of the net looks for a backhand. Batted to the neutral zone by Clack. Purdy picks it off. Ratchford winds up, and a shot from long distance handled by Richard with 3:20 to go. We'll take a break with Caledonia in the 3-2 lead late in the third period of game number 5, looking to advance. You're watching GOJHL Hockey on YouTube. Draw won by the Corvairs. Moran plays it around the board. Clock at the half wall. A reminder, this GOJHL semifinal series from the Golden Horseshoe Conference was brought to you by real estate sales representative Roland Archer of Remax Land Exchange. If you're in the market to buy or sell a property, give them a call. It's 519-755-7409 or email them at roland@rolandarcher.ca. You can visit them online at remaxlandexchange.ca. Play on the half wall inside the Caledonia zone. Purdy picks it up with 2:29 to play. Abraham down the far wall, tipped in nicely by Tanev, and the Corvairs go on a full change. Clack trying to catch the Corvairs on a slow change, chipped it to Faliro. Faliro this time from center. Recapping the scoring as Richard, a charging horror, plays it to the far side. Blake Lushcombe is second on the power play, 4:43 of the first. Fontana tied it at the end of one, picking up his own rebound at the 8:43 mark. 1-1 the score after one. Hoare unassisted, the only goal of the second. Cole Nagy tied it once again. Nagy and Burnell parked out in front of the Caledonia net. Nagy getting the first shot away. Or no, excuse me, Burnell getting the first shot away on the far side. Nagy depositing the rebound into the empty net near corner at the 8:13 mark. And then Bramwell unassisted, moved under a forward angled to the right and 2 steps off the end line. Fired it around the defender Ballinson, and he beat Richard to the far corner at the 9:48 mark. 10-12 left in the frame. Bramwell unassisted and short-handed for the go-ahead goal. Once again, LaSalle Vipers defeating the Sarnia Legionnaires by a final score of 4-3. LaSalle taking a 3-2 series lead. Those two teams will play again on Saturday night in LaSalle, a 7 o'clock game. Game number 6 of that series. The net now empty for Ancaster. Zachariah ahead. Ancaster facing the possible end of their season, defeating the Niagara Falls Canucks 4-0 in round number 1. The Corvairs with a 3-0 series lead before Ancaster stayed alive on Tuesday night with a 5-3 victory. 2-1 Caledonia in game 1, 3-0 in the second game. The 8-1 shellacking in game number 3 by the Corvairs. 1:06 to go. Nagy down the right wing, plays it in deep. Blunt cuts him off with a solid body check in behind the Caledonia net, trying to keep it onside. Hard to see Max Ballinson at the right side with all the Corvairs standing above him. Play offside at the Caledonia bench. Face off at the neutral zone dot, closest to the bench, and Hughes wins it across to Ballinson. Long shot by Clack, deflected by the right shoulder of Entma into the corner. A freed up Clack under the end line, centering pass, fairly looking to tie. Ballinson and Nagy there. Hughes the shot. Hughes a hard shot to the outside of the net, and a wonderful save by Entma. Just 30.8 seconds remaining in the third period. The Avalanche trying to apply late pressure. The Corvairs trying to move to the conference final. Hughes wins the draw. Blunt plays it around the boards. Clack moves up to the half wall to keep it in. De Laurentiis just over the line. Balancing backing up from center ahead to Clack. Zachariah Van Horn digs it out of his skates. De Laurentiis backhands. Balancing on the forehand, tries to clear it back in. The final clearing, bouncing pass perhaps by De Laurentiis. But with 4.4 seconds to go and icing on the Corvairs, De Laurentiis perhaps should have feathered a lesser pass down the far wall. One last draw for the Avalanche. They'll load up on the right side. Zachariah, Nagy, and Fairley will try to crash the net. Entma cutting the angle on the draw toward the far corner. Hughes losing the draw. De Laurentiis one to Van Horn. They tie it up at the corner, and the Caledonia Corvairs advance to the conference finals with a 3-2 victory over the Ancaster Avalanche. A much improved Ancaster team the last two nights on Tuesday night and tonight, the Thursday Game 5 win by Caledonia. The Corvairs win it by a final score of 3-2 on the Connor Bramwell unassisted shorthanded goal at 9:48 as the two teams line up to shake hands. The Corvairs, the better of the two teams, but you gotta give a hand to the Ancaster Avalanche. Ancaster much improved over the final two games as Max Balanson and Nathan Gomes, the first two to shake hands. The Corvairs to advance to the conference final against either the St. Catharines Falcons or the Welland Junior Canadians. The Corvairs' likely opponent, the St. Catharines Falcons. Keep an eye on that one at www.GOJHL.ca. If you're so inclined, head down to St. Catharines tomorrow night. Have a look at that one, 7:30 p.m. at the Jack Gatecliff Arena. Caledonia's conference final opponent yet to be confirmed. We'll likely see that sometime on Monday once all the other series have been completed. There is a game on Monday should the other series extend to 7 games. LaSalle going ahead tonight in their series. Leamington moving ahead of the London Nationals 3-2 with a victory tonight, looking to move on with a Game 6 win in London tomorrow night. Brian Rossetto shaking hands with the scratched Avalanche players from tonight's game, giving a hug to goaltender Blake Richard. And the Corvairs raising their sticks in salute to the Caledonia fans. For the Caledonia Corvairs Hockey Club, I'm John Molson. Tonight's final score, the Avalanche salute their fans as well. The Corvairs win it by a final score of 3-2. The Connor Bramwell near side goal at the 9:48 mark, unassisted and shorthanded. And Bramwell moves the Corvairs to the conference final with his first goal of the playoffs. Please join us for the conference finals. That's yet to be determined. The Corvairs likely to face the St. Catharines Falcons. Be sure to check www.GOJHL.ca for the start times of the conference finals. We'll see you at that point in time. You can also check the ARC Pro HD website. Your final score from Caledonia at the HCCC was the Caledonia Corvairs 3 and the Ancaster Avalanche 2. Good night from Caledonia. We'll see you in round number 3, the Golden Horseshoe Conference Final. As soon as we have that series listed for you, be sure to check www.gojhl.ca. Good night.